Good afternoon. Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN in Elgin. It is Wednesday, the 30th of May, 2012. And boy, has it been a nice summer so far.
How about it?
A little hot. Now today it's nice and cool again.
I like it cooler.
I do too.
I'm not a fan of the big hot weather. Give me the 70s, lower 80s.
I'm with you.
I'm in heaven.
A lot more comfortable that way. This is the DION Jones Show, by the way. Heard here on AM 1410 WRMN every Wednesday afternoon from 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock. You listeners out there, you want to lose weight fast? I know I do. You want to get rich quick? I know I do. Do you want to look young forever? Laura, you look younger today than I've ever seen you.
Do I?
How do you do it?
The secret, I do an hour of cardio a day. I drink lots of milk. I drink 2 20-ounce lattes a day with whole milk. I'm sorry. Well, I've dialed it down a notch to 2%. And I lost a few more lbs.
Yes, that's great.
You could tell.
And our YouTube viewers want to know what's going on with the badge.
Well, with the first, aren't you going to ask me how I'm doing today?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a word for you.
I figured you would. There's no more purple adjective hats.
Okay.
We're filling up with diva-isms.
Diva-ursifying.
Laura, how are you doing today?
Diva-ursifying.
Diva-ursifying.
Like diversifying.
Oh, nice.
Diva-ursifying. I'm getting ready to branch out into a brand new life. I'm getting divorced, and I'm going to be doing...
I didn't even know we were fighting. Why do I learn it this way? We're getting divorced.
Because you don't pay attention.
I thought it was
you didn't get we sent you the memo. You just didn't read it. And we'll talk about that later, like next week. But anyway, we should all diversify and do something to get healthier every day. How's that for a segue?
That's great.
And I and my production assistant, Valentine Bennett, also the lead guitarist for that fabulous band, The Aviators, we are absolutely delirious to be broadcasting live and in person from the Rotunda at the Illinois State Capitol in Springfield last week. And it was an incredibly exciting day, and I have never been down there, not even at school, so I was excited to be there. And
your first trip to Springfield?
Pardon?
Your first trip to Springfield.
That I remember? I don't remember going there as a kid.
8th grade we always went.
Don't remember it.
Always went.
Don't remember that gorgeous stained glass dome.
Did Valentine go from guest 1 week to your production assistant 168 hours later in Springfield? Is that what I just heard on the air?
This guy is not only...
We're divorcing on the same time? All that happened in one time?
It's like a soap opera.
It is. Days of our lives, writing
As
team.
the station turns.
That's right.
Anyway, we've got a ton of cool pictures and footage and a few interesting interviews that we did whilst roaming the Senate and Capitol floors with my page for a day badge that got us in almost everywhere. We didn't go in Quinn's office because there was way too many people outside screaming for him to come out, because one of the groups we interviewed was in Senator Dave Luchterfeld's office. They came from Dwight. All the employees and their families came from Dwight because the next day was going to Dwight to officially close the prison. So, it was a highly charged, highly emotional day. The Capitol was packed with all kinds of special interest groups. Those senators, everybody thinks they have like this real fluff job. I got to tell you something. What are you making?
No, I thought
those people work.
Someone opened the door somewhere, right?
I thought I heard like a ghost. Maybe it was a ghost of shows past.
If you ever watch C-SPAN when they show that, they're talking about bills higher up level.
I got to tell you, those people work, and we got Facebook pictures coming. In fact, I have one that I took that I was sitting in Senator Carol Pencaw's desk on the Senate floor waiting for them to come back from caucus, because they had to adjourn, go to caucus, and so then they had her assistant had us running around interviewing, but I'm getting all ahead of myself here. Anyway, I don't know where to begin, but first I would seriously like to thank Illinois State Senator Carol Pencaw for being such a terrific hostess, and her assistant Helen. Man, is she a dream assistant if there ever was one. She's like Carol's twin. And they were amazing to watch, because Carol comes back, Senator Pencaw comes back into her office. She's got a stack of notes. Call this one, call that one. I forget what you call them, but, return calls. Then she sits down, she's reading bills, she's reading this. The woman is like a beaver. And as I walked around through the Senate quarters of the private offices, everybody, that is some serious business down there. So I don't care. People can say whatever they want. Those people work, Democrats and Republicans.
Of course.
Republicans and Democrats.
That's why they often get divorced as well.
Anyway,
all the time.
because of Senator Carol, I was able to slip around the Capitol building with this badge and in and out of the Senate floor at will, including sitting in her desk, which was awesome. And she then, when she came back one time, she kind of snuck up on me, and she had pulled just a normal chair up next to me. And I said, "Oh, Senator, here, let me give you your seat." She says, "No, you sit there. I want you to vote," or whatever, and they have the machine there. Yeah. And then I took a picture of the senator's desk next to us because there was a bag of chips on that desk. So but we will get to that later.
You voted on the Dwight closing? Let me get this
I voted for Dwight not to close and for everybody to get their pensions, but what can I tell you? And then let me tell you something. And then I got a call right before we're going to go on the air from the Secretary of State's office saying, "We understand you're selling a weight loss product." Because when we got there, Ray Watt, Director of Communications for the Capitol building, who was incredibly helpful, and he was just our major domo the whole day, he told us to put my radio show banner, tape it on the table, because they had a table set up for us in the rotunda. Here, tape this up so none of the guards remove it. They had table and chairs. As per Secretary of State's office, I had to pass a, security background check, fill out all kinds of papers. And anyway, they said that some of the guards complained they thought I was selling a weight loss product. I said, if only.
Right.
It was just the slogan for my show, lose weight fast, get rich quick, look young forever. So anyway, once I convinced them of that, after we were all...
2 days in jail?
Yeah, 48 hours. Just like the movie. And Eddie Murphy was the jailer. Can you believe that?
Oh, what luck. Longer, but Valentine was there to save you. It all comes full circle.
So anyway, when we were done and we were breaking down to after the show, one of the guards came up and he said, "Can I really lose weight fast?" So I started quizzing him, and giving him this...
Give up white starch. Give up those carbs.
Oh, I got him. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to do it." I say, "Here's my card. Email me." And I said, it'll work. And one highlight besides sitting on the Senate floor was Judy Bartopinga's cheesecake meet and greet. It was fun.
Yeah.
And plus, she's lost a lot of weight. That girl. I don't think
she had your product.
Well, anyway, you know what? She had a wrist in a cast, and
she took a fall.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
and she said she broke her hip too.
And fell. Yes.
Well, she was. I'll tell you something. She wasn't really a happy camper, but was incredibly more gracious than I would have been if I were in her shoes. Yeah. Which, by the way, when I looked down at her feet, were big, giant, black, hairy gorilla slippers.
Which she appreciates.
Hysterical. I said, of all things, she said, "Well, at least I'm comfy." So I'll give her that. It was hysterical. And anyway, everyone who contributed to our excellent day, thank you, at the Illinois State Capitol last Wednesday. And one more rather funny thing happened to me, as I was sitting in Senator Carol Pankaw's desk, one of the Democratic senators, who shall remain nameless, came up to me and he said...
Don't I know you?
He said, no, here's what he said. "You're on the wrong side." And I looked at him and I said, "There is no wrong side, Senator. And if you wanted me on your side, you would have invited me down here just like Senator Carol Pankaw did. So I'm here. I'm on her side." Wow. I'm sitting in her chair because she invited me to be...
Did he have a chair for you, though?
Whoops, page for a day.
Were they fighting over your services or what?
No, I don't know, but I don't... How come my badge won't stay around? I don't think
Only YouTube knows that for sure.
I don't think they would have...
Only
Here
Valentine.
it is.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't think they would have... He would have given me relinquished his seat like Senator Pankow.
It was a good negotiation play, though.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
it was.
On my part?
Receiving by you and delivering by him. It was very well done.
Thank you. And then one more thing. I think we were both kidding on the square. But then one more thing I didn't get a chance to mention last week. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I mention that Vidal Sassoon passed away?
Yeah.
Do you remember me saying that?
Weeks ago.
I don't remember.
No, it wasn't. He died last week because Sassoon made the term wash and wear hair synonymous with an easier, more carefree lifestyle. And I, Diva, had the honor and great privilege to study in London with him personally for 3 months back in the day when I was a hairdresser.
Check his death date, though, because I'm sure it wasn't last week.
And the best piece of advice he gave me in person was that I had to be 10 times better than the best male in the shop wherever I worked, because a female and a lot of other women will prefer to go to a male hairdresser strictly sometimes for the man's attention if they don't get the attention at home. And Sassoon himself told me that. But anyway, a Diva here could cut hair like nobody's business, and just ask some of my old clients and friends and take a look at my hair because I still cut it, right?
Your hair looks great today, by the way.
It's getting longer. I'm letting it... Really? Maybe that's why I look different, because I lost weight, the hair's longer, and the eyebrows are darker.
I haven't seen you for 2 weeks, but it's like, yeah.
It's growing, and now I had to use actually a curling iron on the top.
It looks great.
Thanks.
Sure.
It doesn't look too like retro bubble.
No.
Okay, I don't look like my mom.
The 70s.
I don't know what your mom looks like.
There.
Today's temperatures, you're matching.
Anyway, joining us in the studio very shortly today is Illinois State Representative Kay Hatcher, and she's from the 50th District, and she's on the phone, and she's here to tell us about some special fitness bill being passed down in Springfield, and also Gia Claire will be in to see us after the half, and Gia says she's a personal transition specialist. This girl is very cool. Join us in the second half because you're going to want to hear all about what she has to say. On that note, with us in the studio today are Mike Hunziker, one of my favorite guy pals, loyal sidekick, trusty board man. You came through like a champ last week, too.
Oh,
we were down
there. Good times.
Thank you. Jeff Myers, my remarkable co-host, and our very favorite YouTube camera girl, Valerie the Swan, is back with us this week. Because subbing in for Valerie last week was Valentine Bennett, who ran the YouTube cam and the remote broadcasting equipment.
The camera.
It followed me around all day getting footage and taking pictures. You guys missed it. I swear. You would have loved it. And what a talented guy that Valentine is. And besides being lead guitar of an outstanding band, the Aviators, he's a top production coordinator and videographer. So please book him for your next concert or event.
Amen to that.
You saw a show.
Yeah. Well, please stick around because, as usual, we've got a whole lot of fun and interesting talking lined up for you today. You're listening to the Laura DION Jones Show on WRMN, 1410 AM. And meanwhile, back at the WRMN Ranch, today's show is brought to you again by...
We'll throw it to Mike. He did so well last week. Dr. Claire Elias. You remember the phone number? He knows
yes.
Dr. Claire. Dr. Claire became, I believe, one of my Facebook friends this week, if I'm not mistaken. She's got, perfect posture here. Slide over that way. Slide by. See that very nice badge she has, but at the same time, that perfect posture. That posture stood tall in Springfield. It's 168 hours ago, thanks to Valentine and Company.
Oh, you are a math wizard, man.
Well, 7 times 24. And but we want
I'd have to use my fingers.
847-888-9988 for Dr. Claire Elias, chiropractic care. Think up Dr. Claire.
Second to the last show, and you finally come alive. And we'd also like to thank snobouts.com, a canine clothing company. Think Nike meets Donna Karen, but for canines. And would also like to thank Casey Tool, an automotive specialty tool company available through your Snap-on mobile tool distributor. And a very special thank you to Casey again for making this show and all of our shows possible. You're listening to the Laura DION Jones Show on WRMN, 1410 AM. Next, I'd like to introduce you to our first special guest today, Illinois State Representative Kay Hatcher from the 50th District. Representative Hatcher, are you there?
I am.
How are you today?
I couldn't be better, and it's a delight to talk to you. It sounds like you're having a lot more fun there than we are in Springfield right now.
You know what? I bet we are, because I heard about what's going on down there, and I was afraid you wouldn't be able to join us for a few minutes this afternoon.
Well, the timing was perfect. We had just taken a break in the afternoon session to get a chance to get a little, of course, non-caloric beverage, thinking physically. Taking a few minutes before we go back on the House floor, so the timing is just perfect.
Listen, wasn't that fun broadcasting from the Rotunda last week?
Isn't it? You know, we have the most beautiful Capitol in the United States, so I'm always delighted to have broadcasters and visitors alike come to our Capitol. It's a great place.
Without question. I was absolutely wowed. So listen, I know time is short for you. Tell us what you've got lined up for us today, what news you have.
You know, when we talked last week and actually got to know each other, it said it was very coincidental because you are a very healthy person, and we had literally about 15 minutes before in the House supported a piece of legislation. Actually, the official name was Enhancing the Physical Education Task Force. But the fact is, people have gotten smarter, including legislators, we hope, and they've understood that good health is more than just always physical education, that it brings together a lot of things that impact the relationship between physical activity and learning. That our children are healthier, they learn better. And so this group of people will come together, and they're not your standard political appointees. They're folks who actually know what they're talking about with physical education. Mm-hmm. And we're looking forward to this bringing a better level of understanding to the education system in the state. If you could, by any chance, mention my name or get me involved with as a guest speaker for a task force meeting or anything in the House, please let me know, because I'm a catalyst, I'm a motivator, and a lot of times that's the component that's missing. I am absolutely sure that your name will be included in testimony. Gee whiz, thanks a lot. Super.
What else can you tell us some more about that?
Well, I'll tell you, not only that, but I was real pleased. You know, I'm new to the legislature. I'm just in my third year, which is just 2 terms, and was pretty impressed with what the state has done. Before I came here, about 5 years ago, our school code was actually changed to make sure that physical education skills were also combined with learning about healthy eating habits. I'm impressed that Illinois was progressive enough to understand that the two are connected even 5 years ago. I was also impressed that Illinois is only one of 11 states in the entire nation that requires specific amounts of physical education every day. Every day.
How much a day? Do you know offhand?
They have an opportunity, because everyone's time is a little different in every school.
Sure.
You know, some is 30 minutes, some is 35 minutes,
yeah,
whatever.
15,
so each
whatever.
school has it, but it's part of the regular system. So before I came here, the state was already on the right track. Just in 3 years since I've been here, there's really been a movement to understand the importance, for instance, of local fruits and vegetables. We started the Farm Fresh Schools program, which does just exactly that. Encourages local goods to be consumed, and change the code so that schools would be allowed to be able to integrate that into their food programs. And, you know, legislators can be pretty rigid-backed about some things, so I was delighted for them to understand that.
Hold that thought for 1 second, and can I ask you a question along those lines? I know in Chicago there is a high school that is dedicated to agriculture. It's around 111th and Pulaski, don't quote me. The Chicago High School for Agricultural Studies or something. A friend of mine put in an aquaculture system there. So I was a guest at the opening, and I got to see what they did. But the odd thing that they told me was, now I didn't know if this is statewide or just citywide, that anything that they grow in that high school, they are not allowed, the kids are not allowed to eat in the lunchroom. Swear to God. Swear to God. Here they put in this incredible system. They got all these vegetable beds outside, and they're growing all this stuff. And aquaculture involves whole organic, hormone-free tilapia, and it's just this whole enclosed system. And you being, you know, with the farm, pro-farm and everything, it's something that I would love for you to find out about. But anyway, I was like, oh, gee whiz, you know, you're going to have this and that in the lunchroom, and this is terrific. The kids plant it, water it, grow it, bring it up, pick it, wash it, eat it. And they said the kids are not, there's a law now, again, I don't know if it's Chicago or state, where they cannot eat the food that they grow. 2
steps forward, 1 step back.
Thank you. That's why I'm bringing this up, because I thought maybe you wanted to just kind of keep your ear open about that.
You know, I think that's certainly something that needs to be addressed. There's always safety and health regulations that come into some of those kind of systems, and that may have been why that was originally put in place. Mm-hmm. But perhaps as we all get a little smarter about health benefits, things like that could be addressed.
I agree, and that's why I'm mentioning it to you, because you have way more sway than I do. I'm just little old Laura DION Jones, but and so listen to me. How long? What did you do before you became a Illinois State Rep? Refresh our memory again, because I know.
Oh gosh, you mean besides being a mom and a grandma and a wife and all those things?
Yes.
Well, I was elected. I was lucky enough to be able to served my community on the school board and the county board. I was Forest Preserve resident for a number of years. I actually got to know most people in the Fox Valley. I was the community relations director for Illinois Bell, so I already knew all the leaders up and down the Fox Valley long before I ever came to the legislature.
Wow, you sure did. Let me ask you something. Excuse my ignorance. Does the Fox River come down your area, your neck of the woods?
You betcha.
I know you're.
It does. In fact, it flows not far from my backyard. The Fox River actually runs up through Wisconsin and then runs farther down below us. So it's a very long river.
Wow.
There's actually it's called the one of the organizations I support is called the Fox River Ecosystem Partnership, which is conservationists all up and down much of the length of Illinois supporting clean water, which in turn is healthy as well.
Oh, absolutely. What else would you like to leave our listeners with today? What other tidbits? What other news would you
Well,
give
I'll
us?
tell you, a tidbit that I'm sure everybody, and has nothing to do with physical activity, but everything to do with the health of our state. And that is a reminder that we are the most diverse state, I think, in the nation. We go from very rural to very urbanized with an increasing and changing demographic. And there are going to be a lot of tough decisions made in the next couple of days in Springfield. I think every one of us here has a simple goal, and that is to do everything we can to get Illinois on a stable footing and still treat people with respect and dignity. And that's my goal. I think that's what everyone's goal is here.
That's wonderful. Jeff, you got
one more note, Kay. You've done telethon work at Sugar Grove, Wabansie Community College, have you not?
Oh, you bet I have. I've been, I talked about my professional background, but I have I don't think there are many not-for-profit organizations that I haven't been a board member of, and I've been president of a lot. So
I was there with that. I've been in the green room with you, my dear, down there, because I host with you, so it's awfully fun.
This is Jeff Meyer. Myers.
Oh, yeah, I recognize.
And also the senior services gathering you always go to here in the Elgin area as well, Elgin War. So congratulations on all those.
Listen, our communities are all interwoven.
It's called the Fox River.
To be healthy.
Exactly.
We do. And that means that we all personally need to support our not-for-profits because they form that safety net that government couldn't possibly fulfill.
You are absolutely right. We want to thank you very much for your time today, Illinois State Representative Kay Hatcher. She's from the 50th District, but it doesn't matter because we're all interwoven, just as she said. And I want to say all the best. Please mention my name in high places, especially when it comes to motivational weight loss, improved health, and increased fitness. And I am always at your service.
Indeed. Ditto.
Thank you very much for your time today. And give everyone our regards.
I will do so. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Always at your service. That was always a slug line for KMOX Radio. Very
That's
good.
mine, too.
Always
I'm
at
always
your
at your service.
KMOX Radio.
I think you took the words out of her mouth with that little closing sentence you said.
Yeah.
She was a little stymied.
Yeah, you said it all. And
well, you know when I asked her to come on...
No need for a filibuster.
You know when I asked her to come on, boy, I'd be good on that floor, wouldn't I?
I'm telling you.
She said something about her district, and then I said, you know what? Your issues are our issues.
Yeah.
All across the state, so we work hand in hand. Anyway, I got a quickie quote for today. You ready? Laura's Motivational Minute. Who said, not being able to do everything is no excuse for not doing everything you can?
Helen Keller.
Valentine, your assistant. Valentine.
No, but this has got such a name like that. The guy's name is Ashley Elwood Brilliant. That's his real honest-to-God name. He's a noted syndicated author and a cartoonist from the UK, and he now lives in Santa Barbara. And he does this thing called pot shots every day, and they're like there's stories. There's 17.
You discussed that in Springfield.
Wait a second. There's 17-word story essays. If you look up his website, Ashley ASHLEIGH, Brilliant, like you're brilliant. He's got phenomenal quotes and stuff on his website.
So he was born smart.
He was born real smart and real talented because he does all the illustrations to go along with the stuff too. Anyway, until our legislators, policymakers, and medical professionals redefine healthy eating and stop preaching the same old, our country's obesity epidemic will continue to escalate. No question. Fat, salt, and high fructose corn syrup are not the only things making kids and adults across the country fat. White starch and sugar carbs are the biggest culprits in this battle. And don't kid yourself, size does matter. No one can do it for you. You must stay dedicated, be diligent, and aware for the rest of your life, just like with everything else out there. Because not being able to do everything is no excuse for not doing everything you can to get healthier and more fit. Remember, kids, there really is no excuse for staying overweight in any way. And where there's a will, you'd better find a way to do cardio every day, or else you know what's going to happen. Please go to this week's motivational article by me on elgin.bocajump.com under blog. The title is Size Does Matter, and I've already gotten several emails. Thank you, I needed this. Thank you for sending this. I needed the reminder. Please read it for improved health and fitness bennies. Forward it on to all your friends, please. And just like that, I'm thinking it's halftime.
Oh, no. Is it really?
Almost. I'm surprised you're not holding up your fingers.
You've been doing this for such a long time, I don't have to help you out anymore.
Yeah, you do.
I used to have to give you signals and tug my ear when it was this time, or and give you a certain finger when it's a different time.
A certain finger, yeah. When I get out of line.
What did you tell him before the show? You took one look at him, and what did you say?
I said, my God, you look terrific. You've lost weight.
Well, that too, but the headphones also.
Oh, yeah. He looked over here at me, and he just had a real cute smile on his face, and I said, Mikey, you look darling in those headphones. And that's why he was giggling when we came on air.
Put him on camera for YouTube. I want to see these headphones up close.
Isn't he? But you have to give me the look like you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That was cute.
That typical broadcast look. Me?
Right?
That was well done.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you talking to me?
You got any more questions you want to ask me before we segue into the half?
I don't think I have any questions to ask.
But you do look good. I want to talk about your weight loss next week because George is coming in and he's dropped 20 pounds in May, and I spoke to him today. Have you seen him? He
George
said,
Rawlinson?
Yeah.
We can see him in person
20
tomorrow
pounds tomorrow night.
Public House.
Give the scoop.
He wrote a book where Dr. Jose Torres, one of the most well-known superintendents in all of the land, but looking up, well, we're the second biggest school district after Chicago.
In all the land.
Yeah, in all the land.
And the shoes that he took over at the U46 was also a well-known superintendent for different reasons.
Right. Throughout the land.
Well, yeah, for different reasons, though. So he's on the good side of the world.
I know.
District
Dr. T, I loved him.
Yes.
46, which encompasses 11 communities, if you will. And George got a new book, so it'll be showcased tomorrow, 5 to 8 at the Elgin Public House. So come on out, 219 East Chicago Street, George Rawlinson.
Be there or be square.
That's right.
And you're listening to the Laura DION Jones Show on WRMN 1410 AM. We'd like to thank our very special sponsors.
That's Dr. Claire Elias. You know her. She is out and about and is very active in town, wherever that might be. She's right on Larkin Avenue, has been for a couple of decades plus, as you know, with her chiropractic care. When you think of chiropractic care, let's all say that together on YouTube.
Chiropractic
care. Dr. Claire Elias. Those two.
CCNC, Chiropractic Care by Claire.
That's her degree as well. Congratulations. 888-9988 with the 847 error code. That is Dr. Claire Elias. All right. Yes.
And a big thanks to Snob Hounds and Casey Toole, weekly sponsors of ours, without whom our show would not be possible. Again, you're listening to the Laura DION Jones Show, and we're back on the air live talking all sorts of interesting stuff today. We just finished up with Illinois State Representative Kay Hatcher from the 50th District, and she told us about some fitness initiative and fitness task force that the state is working on or just passed this bill. And our next very special guest is a gal named Gia Claire, and Gia says she's a personal transition specialist, and she's here to tell us all about that, as well as her terrific transformational seminar called GLOW, G-L-O-W. And she's also the author of a wonderful book called Head First, and she describes it as Eat, Pray, Love, Meet Sex in the City. Trust me, it is. Trust me. Val, if you want to read it, I see you're laughing. You'll appreciate this book. Here, I'm going to hold it up. We're going to talk about it when she comes on the phone, but here's her book, and then we'll show it again later. I brought it today. Anyway, I want to welcome Gia.
Hello.
How are you? Welcome to the Laura DION Jones Show.
That was timing. That was great.
Thank you for
See, after 133 shows, I'm finally getting the hang of it. So listen, G, how's things on the south side?
Things are good. It's a glorious, glorious day on the south side.
Sun is shining?
Yeah, it's all good.
Listen, give us a little 411 on your background, like where you're from and your former life.
Yeah, sure. So I am a Southside Chicago person, born and raised. I did live across the country for about 10 years of my life, including a short stint in London in the corporate world, which was fantastic. During this time, actually about 4 years ago, I got divorced, and at that point in time is when I wrote the book Head First. And I've always written on some level, but that's what really kicked it into a professional level. And I wrote that book because nobody really tells you what happens after the dust settles and the papers are inked, and then you're sort of wondering, like, now what? And, you know, I did read Eat, Pray, Love and thought, like, well, this is great if I could drain my bank account and move to Italy. You know, and I read a few others, and just nothing really solves the now what do I do question. So I figured I would just write it as I was experiencing it. And so